issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the move. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis. First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580, good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show, as you probably know, is called First Things First. And my very first thing today and every day, giving thanksgiving praises and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders and getting it going, stirring the pot. That's my job and yours too. And this is the way we do it on a Thicker Than Thursday. Hour one. We look local, what's going on around here, left coast, Pacific Ocean side of town. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive on a person of interest or a hot topic. And we're right on point with that today. We are going to be talking, we're going to spend a second day talking about jail closure. And will LA Men's Central Jail ever close? This time we're talking to the man in charge of getting it done. Newly hired Wilford Pinkney Jr. will join me in the studio. You're invited in every hour at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580, or in our YouTube conversation. Just tap in at KBLA 1580 on YouTube. The comments during the show are, well, it's a whole community. The comments are a community, and you are invited into it. I'm excited to have with me in the studio right now, hour one. We've never done it like this before, although she has certainly been on this show. But to have her here as a partner in politics to comment on what's going on around the town. She's the Assistant Director of People for Community Improvement. She is a neighborhood council chair of bylaws, vice chair of homeless issues. She's also the founder of an organization called Live Your Life. Moma Boo, Nakiesha Scott, welcome back.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to come and sit down with you.
Looking so beautiful. I think I should have woke up an hour earlier so I could get cuter. Welcome.
No, you're always beautiful. We always beautiful.
Yes, we are beautiful inside and out.
Yes.
Is that our affirmation today?
Yes.
The other thing about Moma Boo that you may or may not know is she's a Gemini like me. So when we get to talking.
We get to talking.
And that's what it is. How are things at Live Your Life?
It's been big changes at Live Your Life. I'm not no more currently at the location that I was at. I'm actually 2 weeks out of the location looking for me a new location, but I have 3 possibilities that I have to pick from. 3 locations.
Well, sorry that, we weren't able to buy you that building.
I know, but it's all good.
But God put his hands on it, and hopefully whichever one you choose will be even better and even better things for you and the young girls. I was going to say women, but they really are girls.
Yeah, the babies.
That you mentor, your babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So with the shopping around for different locations, I'm trying to stay in my neighborhood. So I do have a location that's in my neighborhood that I'm really, really focused on. And it is like double size my building that I was at. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, God just moving me around for something bigger and better. I'm not seeing it as a negative, even though it was like Monday, we might sell the building. Thursday, we are going to sell the building. 2 weeks later, we have a buyer. And it's like, that was too fast. You already knew you had a buyer.
Yeah,
but
it sounds a little shady.
It was.
It
It ended up not happening the way that I thought it would, just based on all the work and all the things that I did managing the building next door and taking care of both buildings. I wouldn't have thought that it went like that. But instead of being negative about it, it's one of those things where you just open the door for God to do something bigger and better for me and these girls.
Yeah. Well, KBLA continues to stand with you. And of course I do. KBLA
Absolutely.
or no KBLA. Dominique is here for it. And in a couple weeks, we're going to bring some more of the young girls.
Yes, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah. How are their spirits? I know, with the new political administration in Washington, I know kids don't always follow that stuff
Right.
step by step, but they always pick up on our energy and the atmosphere. And there is a lot of fear and dread and even some depression.
They're
among the adults is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Their response is based off of what they see and what they hear. They're not into politics, so they don't fully understand it like that. So what my job is to do, just give them my perspective and have them Google and research certain things that, for example, some of these things that Trump's signing, some of these executive orders. So instead of just speaking about what he's signing, it's like research it, so they getting a little bit of the information via researching and via social media, TV, and then what they hear around the house. But for the most part, they're not into politics, so that's not really nothing that they feel or too much talk about unless I bring it up.
Yeah. And how about you? How are you? It's a tough moment for nonprofits. I was saddened to read, and we talked about it somewhat yesterday, about how the state is investigating this food bank, and now, among the people that have been that are being investigated and accused of wrongdoing, Sweet Alice Harris out of Watts, who's of course a longtime community activist. She's 90 years old, and you just I wonder about the state going after one of our, iconic community activists, and wonder what's ahead. I mean, I get that, it's up to state and federal officials to go after
wrongdoing.
Corruption and wrongdoing, and nonprofits are under a lot of scrutiny, but a woman who has, such a track record at 90 years old, it seems disheartening.
Yeah, that seems like, leave it alone. Like, she's done so much good. Let's not pick out one or two little bad things. Like, it's just overpowering good that she's done. So I haven't even heard about that. So I'm kind of like, what?
Yeah. So, well, that was my reaction too. Show me the receipts.
Yeah.
Don't just give me
don't
a
just talk about
article.
it.
Yeah, I'm going to need a little bit more than that. But okay, so one thing I've noticed about you, as long as we've known each other, is that whatever's thrown at you, you are going to keep going.
Period.
You're going to show up for the young girls that you mentor.
Absolutely.
Live your life, and you're going to keep it pushing.
Yes.
How do you stay encouraged and stay inspired? I mean, I've had so many people, looking for help to be talked off the ledge or to be encouraged and inspired, fired up, really, because I think it's more than just, how do I get by right now? I think we actually have to show up as inspired.
Absolutely.
In the middle of this historical moment, and I've never seen you not so. So how do you stay in that place?
One thing that is really going on with me with my baby girls is they're helping me heal my traumas. And I didn't know that until maybe a couple of months ago. I was kind of reflecting. I'm like, when I'm around them, I'm healing my childhood traumas. So with the girls, and as far as in, all the nonprofits that's doing what they not supposed to be doing, not using the money correctly, I don't get no money for the very most part. So all of it is my resources and my finances going into my nonprofit right now. It's not no big corporation or big grants that are coming down for me. So I wouldn't even fall in that category.
Not even little grants, to be clear.
Yeah, like, the most
part,
is like, it's not even enough to talk about.
Right.
So it's mostly me. So I don't have to worry about them coming after me pertaining to nothing, because they don't give me anything. As far as in like, the PPP loan, I didn't even play with that at all. So it's a lot of funding that has came through the pipeline that I did not touch. So I'm not worried about that. No way, no shape, form. But my keep going is the 13 girls that I have. They have so much going on a daily, where they call me crying, different things that's going on in the family, different things that's going on at school. So my way to keep going is I'm still searching for a little boo-boo, a little me. And I do not have a little me. My girls are, for the most part, good girls. Just everybody have issues. But I don't have that gang-banging, can't read, destructive little young girl.
You're describing you.
Me, right. So I don't have a me. So that's one of the things to keep going. So I'm like, if I have these 13 girls with all the problems that they have, I have to do what I'm doing because there's so many more black baby girls out there. And one thing about it, my baby girls are the most vulnerable demographic out of everybody. So it's like, I have to do it. It's just something I have to do. It's not ifs, ands, buts about it for me.
Mm. And speaking of a little you have a book.
Yes.
Another book.
Second, book number 2.
I hate you right now because
No,
I've been trying to write a book for like 10 years, and here you are on book number 2. It's only play hate. It's admiration hate.
I know. You're going to get your book going.
Yeah, if I keep hanging out with you. So,
Yep.
Female Gangsta Girl. That's the name of the book. Unmasking the Female Gangsta by Nakiesha Scott.
Yes.
You.
Yes.
This is your life?
That is my experience and my perception and my opinion of the female in the gang world. It's a variation of different females. That book was written to let everybody know what I stand on and what I think is really happening. Gangsta Girl is the top of the charts. Even between the male gangsters and the females, I believe Gangsta Girl is the top of the one. Because you have different ones as far as in like the dope head female gangster. You have the stupid female gangster, and I'm trying not to use profanity, and then you have the male gangster, but the female gangster, she's the hardest one of everybody because she's solid. One thing she don't do is run, and it's a lot of men that's not going to like that book, and I don't care, and I stand on all 10 toes with everything I wrote up in there, because one thing that the female gangster don't do is run from anything and anybody. When you have men out there that protect the whole neighborhood but won't even protect their kids.
Protect the whole neighborhood.
Protect the whole neighborhood. To shoot anything and everything up, but will not protect their kids.
Protect their kids.
They run from their kids. So that's one statue that put us above them. We don't run from our kids. The female gangster, to know who she is in your neighborhood, 'cause there's only 2 or 3 per neighborhood. But to know who she is, she was very, very solid. Very down. No smut on her name, no nothing. And to know who she really is, look at her kids. She do not have bad kids for the most part. Just as she protected the neighborhood and gang bang for the neighborhood, she protected and gang bang for her kids to be smarter and better than her.
I noticed you said we. You still see yourself that way?
I see myself as, I'm not active. I'm not involved in that lifestyle, but I do have dealings with it. I do try and speak my word to these different kids. Gangbanging is out. So my thing is, I'm not promoting it. I don't think that it's one thing that no one should be doing at this point, because gangbanging did not start to kill each other. It started to protect us from the other races. That's how it actually started. So where we're at with it now is totally backwards. It's totally backwards. We're out here killing our own protectors and providers. Because if, like me, just thinking about it, with the young guys and the young people my age and down that has passed away, I would just say within the last 3 years in my neighborhood, majority of the guys that passed away are the ones that will protect females, are the ones that will protect their kids. And the ones that don't, they just still walking around, ain't nothing, ain't doing nothing, and causing chaos and disturbing and manipulating these babies.
I'm going to continue this conversation. And I'm going to call this a 2-part conversation because I haven't had a chance to read this book yet, but I certainly will cover to cover. And then we're going to go.
You're going to love it.
I know. We're going to go deeper, but we got a lot to talk about, and you're invited in. 800-920-1580. That's the number. Hop in the comments on the chat. I'll be checking those out too. Nakiesha Scott, author, Moma Boo, founder of Live Your Life. They're
Yes.
both her, and she's here with me. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. Before the fire, Altadena was a real-life Wakanda. A thriving black oasis just 15 miles from downtown Los Angeles. 80% black residents were homeowners, building intergenerational wealth against the odds. It was a hub of black-owned businesses, churches, and cultural institutions. It stood as a symbol of black resilience and economic independence. Then, in a matter of hours, it was gone. The fire tore through homes, swallowed businesses, and left behind a painful void. But was it just an unstoppable act of nature, or was negligence involved? Did officials ignore early warning signs? Were the response efforts delayed or insufficient? What role, if any, did corporate or government failures play? Survivors are demanding answers. Don't miss our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall. The Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting. On Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center, 1081 North Fair Oaks in Pasadena. Join Dominique DiPrima, Nee Cordelai Corte, James Farr, Tavis Smiley, and a panel of survivors, community leaders, and experts as we commemorate Day 100 since the wildfires flared up. And we discuss where we go from here. It's KBLA's Eden Altadena Fire, 100 Days and Counting Town Hall, Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center in Pasadena. Light refreshments to follow. Admission is free, but sign-up is required at our KBLA1580.com website. The first 100 attendees will receive a complimentary air purifier. This is a community call to action, brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and Quinn Emanuel Trial Lawyers. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka The Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Nakiesha Scott, Moma Boo. These are your two books. If folks want to see them, they're up on the YouTube. As a Black Woman, How to Listen to Your Spirit and Love Our Black Baby Girls.
Absolutely.
That's your first one.
That's my first one.
And this is your newest, Female Gangster Girl.
Yes.
Unmasking the Female Gangster. And you said, you stand on this. You were talking, one thing I wanted to say before I forget, you fund your own organization.
Yes.
And that reminds me of my friend Bo Taylor, may he rest in peace, when he started Unity One, which, was another community organization based out of the neighborhood, based on people who were involved in the gang lifestyle, doing whatever they could to protect their communities, to better their communities, which, those early pioneers, and there are a lot of them, they all did that work for free.
Yeah.
And it led to the city then funding, that work through grid and whatever. But it started with people like you who cared enough to come out of their own pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, because I believe majority of the best mentors are ex-street people. Rather it's gang members, rather it's prostitutes, rather it's pimps, or whatever the case may
Unhoused
be.
people, right?
Yeah, just people that street life that then change their life. Those are mostly the best mentors for our youth. Sad to say, but who's best to tell them what not to do than someone that has been through it and it didn't work out? Because one thing about the streets is undefeated. You're not going to win versus the streets. I don't care who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah. The other thing you said is, we're talking about how you perceive the gang lifestyle now or lifestyle, whatever it is, as compared to, this ideal that we have that the gangs originated, and I've heard it many different times, and I've heard people dispute it, but that they were created to protect neighborhoods and turned into more of like profiteering or pride or criminal enterprises.
Yeah.
What role do you think social media has played in that?
Oh my God. Social media pertaining to the gang world is the devil. I mean, the role that it play, I see so many men talking too much. as far as in older than me. And back then we didn't take pictures like talking about, because we didn't want to be in pictures because of the things that were being done. We didn't sit and talk amongst other hoods about our hood. Like, that was an absolutely no. That's still supposed to be an absolutely no. But to be on a podcast just speaking different stuff, that to me is too far-fetched. And I know a lot of people are like, you talk. Yeah, I talk about me. I don't talk about nothing and nobody else but me. I'm not going to tell a fantastic story about what I did when I was 19, 20 and start naming my homegirls and different stuff like that, or talking about contributing factors. I'm going to talk about me.
Mm-hmm.
I have enough to talk about me than to be pulling other people information in, just running my mouth.
Talking about you, talking about your organization.
Talking about how I overcame it.
Right.
Yeah, my traumas, things like that.
So, and I also have heard, well, I've had conversations with a couple of the people who are doing the intervention work, that there's people, quote unquote, banging on Instagram and whatnot, who could be in a totally different state and they're not even involved in this.
Instagram and social media is the devil when it comes to gangbanging. Like, that was nothing that was publicized. You don't take a old camcorder and just start gangbanging and just talking on it. Like, that was like, you're not going to do that. So it's kind of like, why do it now?
Not a camcorder.
And then you got like an old little camcorder. But it's really turned upside down because the kids are taking it and running with it. It's a lot of things that they doing that we would have never done, as far as in just implementing themselves and doing things live online.
But really, it's not just kids doing that. I see.
Like I say, them it's the majority of these old males that be doing a whole lot of talking and a whole lot of manipulating these kids' minds. And then as well as the music. Of course, that's a big culture issue, I think, with so much of drugs, sexting, and all that in the music that these kids are listening to. And we talking about babies are listening to this, rapping that. So they learning it younger and younger.
Do you think that affects just the kids, or do you think it affects the whole community?
It affects the whole community.
So what's the answer? Because I've been a defender, particularly of hip hop, most of my life. It's like we need to have variety of voices, but when we talk about the violence in our culture and the value that we place on violence and gun warfare and being tough or so-called cool in that sense, to me, it's everywhere. It's not just in hip hop. It's in movies, on television,
reality shows.
It's in the White House. We're big and bad, but it just hits different when you don't have anything.
Yeah, but the thing about it for me is we're not in control over what's being played on the radio or the TV.
That's a great point.
So with us not being in control, we don't have control of what we want the public to see and how we are. As far as in all these reality shows, it's not nothing but a bunch of drinking and fighting. So that's something that these babies are mimicking, which I think they need to have a couple of reality shows showing some of these young black girls going to college and not passing their finals or something like that in a road to redeem themselves and get their bar exam passed. Something like that. Doors being closed in their face. Because we have some smart babies.
Yes.
Now, I would say as far as in my babies, like I say, I don't have no babies that remind me of me. I have honor roll babies.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like show the road of doors being slammed in your face and you still grinding, you still going to school, you still trying to make sure you take care of your sick mom, the regular real issues that we go through. Show that in a reality show to show these babies that when a door closed, you can keep going, don't give up. But all this fighting, we're not in control of that, but we're the ones that's out here acting like clowns, being the entertainers.
Yeah. Well, I can't say I disagree with that. There's an intentional portrayal.
Absolutely.
Particularly of black women.
Absolutely.
As being one another's enemies. As being, promiscuous and quick to fight. And that's just not my experience. I mean, I know situations like that happen in life, but not every second.
No.
That's not real. They're going to say if it bleeds, it leads. And so who's going to watch, women going to law school? Well, maybe if they're, going to law school while looking glamorous and
I
being,
mean,
I don't
no,
know.
it wouldn't even have to be looking glamorous. It's just a way of life. You know, anything that's a struggle and then someone overcome, we all want to see that.
I mean, to your point, how about a reality show about how the streets are undefeated? That would be a
like
good
tell
show.
the truth.
Right.
Tell the truth. Tell these little young people that you do not want to go to the penitentiary. Like, it's a whole nother life in there. Tell them the truth.
Like
tell them that you can do something dumb at 15, 16, and you might not come home to 45 years old. Tell them that. Tell these little boys that while you being tough, do you want to spend years and years and years in cells with men?
Yeah.
With no more girls?
Well, you're getting a lot of love
truth.
on YouTube, but we'll talk about that when we come forward. Nakiesha Scott, a.k.a. Moma Boo, Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. New York City is hiring a lot of teachers for next year to better comply with the state-mandated classroom size rules. Mayor Eric Adams announced that 3,700 teachers will be hired at nearly 750 schools, which will help make classrooms smaller. The trial of former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson, charged with the murder of a black woman, Sonia Massey, will be moved to Peoria County, Illinois. Grayson's lawyers argue he can't get a fair trial in Sangamon County. Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson aims to improve the city's budget process, scheduling meetings with aldermen starting this month. Johnson faces a projected $1.12 billion budget gap in 2026. And Chicago State has hired Bobby Rome II as its first head football coach ever, aiming to bring NCAA Division I football to Chicago. Rome, who is black, previously coached at Florida Memorial University and was nominated for HBCU Coach of the Year in 2024. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Imagine a photograph of your favorite place in California. Then right in the middle of it, one piece of litter. Litter has no place in our lives, not one piece. Together, let's change that. Clean California. Zero litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
In so many ways Wednesday night, Luka Doncic told the Dallas Mavericks organization they never should have traded him. In his first game in Dallas since the Lakers traded for him on February 2nd, Doncic had a spectacular return. 45 points, 6 assists, and 4 steals. Doncic got standing ovations from Mavericks fans before and after the game. The Lakers pulled away for a 112-97 win. The win secured a top 6 finish for the Lakers in the Western Conference, which means they will avoid the play-in round. The Lakers have 2 games remaining in the regular season, Friday at home against Houston and Sunday at Portland. The Clippers won their 6th straight. They beat Houston 134-117 in their final regular season home game at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Ivica Zubac had his first career triple-double with 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists. James Harden dropped 35. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like it.
Inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
At Exquisite Family Mortuary, we know how overwhelming it can be planning a meaningful farewell for your loved one. Secure your peace of mind by calling Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. From traditional funeral services to memorials to direct cremation, pre-needs, and more. Call Charlotte White at Exquisite Family Mortuary for Southern hospitality in Southern California. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. Exquisite Family Mortuary is located nearby in Inglewood, California. Exquisite Family Mortuary, where your loved one becomes our loved one. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Dominique DiPrima, and it's almost time to celebrate KBLA's 4th anniversary, coming up Juneteenth 2025. We'll be marking the achievement with 4 key community events, including a special symposium, luncheon, and brain trust hosted by me entitled The State of Black Women in Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I appreciate you. Nakiesha Scott is here, Moma Boo, talking about life in LA. West Side is what we do usually in our first hour of the show. And she's got a book out, Female Gangsta Girl. I didn't get a chance to read it yet, but I was perusing it during news, traffic, and sports instead of paying attention. And something stood out to me. You said, and I'm going to read right now a little bit.
Okay.
In the intricate world of gang life, there exists a figure often underestimated, yet profoundly powerful. The silent killer. This warrior, intimately known to me because she is me, wields no traditional weapons. Instead, she masters the art of emotional and spiritual warfare, dismantling her enemies from within. This matrilineal gangsta girl is a force to be reckoned with. And I'm going to go forward a little because there's something that I thought was really interesting. That she, her strength lies in her ability to perceive and counteract threats.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
I would say I've matured, and more so now, I allow people to teach me how to fight them instead of responding how I used to, so physical or just so direct immediately. I more so sit back, and once someone pisses me off, majority of the times I don't mess with nobody. I never really did when I was young. I was just bad. But as far as in just being messy or always in somebody's business or anything like that, I was never like that. So now, instead of responding, I sit back, and the way you're acting to me is how you teach me how to fight you. And then once I get mad enough, I'm going to fight you spiritually. And I think that as far as in the people, we really need to tap into who we are and where we come from and who our ancestors were, because a lot of things that is powerful about us is the same thing that they tell us do not do, as far as in like black magic or voodoo or something like that. They make it seem as if that's bad. It could be used for bad or it could be used for good, but that's one of our powers that they have shut off in us. And through this post-traumatic slave syndrome, we just out of whack with who we are as people.
I mean, to be fair, the term voodoo is a Western stereotypical term that was created to malign Haitian spirituality. So in that sense, Afro-Haitian spirituality. So in that sense, I understand what you're saying. Black magic, not sure where you're going with that. But
just saying anything that we practice or anything that was taught down or passed down to us is considered bad. No difference than I just recently found out that a black cat is not bad luck and all of that. Anything black is seen as a negative, seen as wrong, seen is just the opposite. So I just say tap into who we are, and then especially talk to these elders. Love on these elders. Get our history from our elders. Stop being so disrespectful and stop allowing these young kids to be disrespectful and as boisterous to their grandmother and their grandfather as they are. And get some history. Ask them where did they come from? How was their childhood? Get some education of who you are and where you come from.
Yeah. Well, you said, I didn't mark this quote, but you said something about real strength has to do with sometimes has to do with not responding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like one of my teachers used to say, the stupidest person is the loudest person in the room, like a wagon. I can't think of how exactly she said the wagon is loud when there's nothing in it. So with that thought,
I've never heard that saying.
Yeah, with that thought,
I like it.
I didn't calm down with responding as much as I used to. It's more about I'm not worried about you. I still have something to focus on. I have something to lose. I have these little girls that are watching my every moves. So I got to be strategic and I got to be vigilant about what I'm doing and what I'm saying, because they are mimicking me and they are leaning on my every word. I am who I am and they know who I am. I don't lie. I do not pretend like I was just such a good person. No, I do not act like that. But I do let them know with me doing all the negative that I was doing, I'm still playing catch up at 40. So why do that when you don't have to play catch up out of the gate coming out of high school? Just go on and live your life. You don't have to play catch up at 20 something, 30 something, 40.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to also say before we run out of time, because time goes so fast on the radio. You said you finance your own organization, but I wanted to let it be known that that's not because she won't accept your support.
Oh, that's
if
not
you
that.
have money to give or
absolutely,
some other kind of resources that you can share with Live Your Life. You are a full-on nonprofit organization.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things that a lot of times is not what you're doing, to be who you know. And I've learned that over these last 2-3 years, that it's not that my organization is not doing what it's supposed to be doing or that the paperwork is not correct. Everything is correct. My 501c3 is legit. I had, at that point, up until 2 weeks ago, I had a building, 4,700 square foot. So it's not that I did not have a location or that I didn't have proper paperwork. All of that was in line. But when you don't know certain people or you don't have connects, it's like they go pull they people to get these grants, and if you're not connected, you might not fall into the 50 that they picked this time. So it's not always about what you're doing and how you're doing it. It be about who you know.
But I'm sure anything from $1 million to $1 makes a difference.
Absolutely. $2 makes a difference.
So it's LIVEYO
LIFE.
32.org. Live Yo Life 32.org.
Yes.
Jerry Anderson says real strength, stop affirming every inclination, stop reacting to all dumb stuff. We could apply that not just to gang life.
No, that's life.
We could apply
general.
it to the political world right now.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of, Jim Brown. He had the American organization, which still goes on after his death. And I always cite his curriculum, the decision-making process. Eliminate the negative, establish the facts, and choose your best option.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then it comes a point where we just got to help each other, you know, because I've been in different situations where you would think that the person is the same color as you and is way more potent or have way more resources than you, and they will hate on you. Just as we're speaking of Jim Brown, so much respect for that man. Totally, with everything that he's done, he's helped so many people careers, so many. It's like I don't even know how many people. But to just be honest, his wife, she's a woman hater.
Well, I know Monique. I haven't had that experience with her, but
yeah, but I have. So, you know, that's something that I probably wouldn't have said a year or so ago. But prior to me not caring no more, because what I do know is women that are docile, women that are passive, they do not make history. Yeah. I cannot think of one woman that has made history, a black woman, that was passive. Mm-hmm. And I'm not doing what I'm doing just to be doing it. I'm doing this to make history. Because if you teach one little girl something, you could teach the nation. Because that little baby girl going to teach her babies.
Well, maybe me, you, and Miss Monique can go have coffee.
No, we don't need to have no coffee. There's nothing that we need to do. I mean, I wouldn't be disrespectful or nothing like that.
Of course you wouldn't.
Out of respect for her husband. But as far as in her as a person, absolutely not. Absolutely not, because it was a business move that I was counting on her to assist with, was the reason that we was introduced, and she tried to undermine me and take over everything, and we ended up not getting nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's fine.
I'm always, here for...
Everybody is not here for each other.
No,
some people are dependent on what they can get out of it. And then by me feeling that you have so many resources because of who you are and everybody that's around you, I'm like a little bitty fish. So I need help. You don't need help. And for you to do what you did to me, to stagnate me, and I'm nowhere near where you at, it was very hurtful coming from a black woman to another black woman that I know you're established. But then you got to understand the difference. That organization is not her baby. That's Jim's baby. So that's like somebody coming along and taking over, live your life. They're not going to have the same compassion. They're not going to have the same love. And it's not going to be their baby because it's mine.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely was Jim's creation. But Monique, she helped hold that down for a long time when he wasn't well and when, and over the years. I mean, I've witnessed it. But I'm sorry to hear that. I know that it's, well, like E.C. Courtney is saying right here, some are like crabs in a barrel. And, when we get to holding each other back, that's, I'll look to reference what you said, Dr. Joy DeGruy, when she said, in her book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, she talks about how we were programmed not to support each other.
Absolutely.
And the only way to overcome that is to consciously be intentional about undoing it.
And to get healing. If a lot of us would have more healing circles and things like that for us black women, it will help a whole lot. We are not healed. So as people, we are traumatized, and a lot of that trauma is passed down through generations. It's in the DNA. As far as in my trauma is passed to my kids. So if I'm not healed and I'm maneuvering in a toxic manner, they're going to move in a toxic manner. So it continues, it goes on and on. But one major thing that's rarely talked about is for us healing ourselves. And it's one of those things where talking about getting counseling, that has been something that has been thrown upon us as a negative. And we still carry that. Like, I'm not talking to no shrink, but why not? Some people need to talk to a couple of different types of shrinks.
No doubt.
So it's that negative thing that we are not opening our mind and getting research and figuring out who we are as people and getting healed.
Molly Bell says, girls in gang be blessed when I see Moma Boo. Lakeisha Scott, I see our future in her. Take care. Each one, teach one. Let's go. She says, Moma Boo, keep dancing.
Hey.
Just change partners.
Right.
Molly Bell, straight out of Compton. We'll continue our conversation with Nakiesha Scott, a.k.a. Moma Boo, and you when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud.
A great place for progressive politics.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
Hi, I'm Joe Montaigne. Let's talk about veteran homelessness, because it's not just a housing issue, it's a human issue. Right now, we need LA property owners to open their doors and give veterans a safe place to call home. With guaranteed rent and dedicated support, you can be part of the solution. Learn how you can help. Email houseourvets@lacity.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Be heard. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed. Moma Boo is here. How can we help with Live Your Life? Nakiesha Scott, she's the author. First of all, Female Gangsta Girl can be found on Amazon, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And or you can probably connect. Are you doing book signings or anything?
Yes, I am. I actually had a book signing that I wasn't able to get to, but I am hooking up something for May for sure.
Okay.
But anybody that want the book that's in the LA area, if they want a signed book, you can reach out to me and I might pull up on you.
Okay, here's my pen.
Exactly.
And then as far as like support, what other kinds of support does Live Your Life need?
Live Your Life need grants, donations. Anybody can reach out to me via my website, and there is a donation button on there, liveyourlife32.org, LIVEYOLIFE 32.org, and you can donate through there, or you can find me on social media, Instagram, Moma Boo 32, MOMABOO 32.
So you said something that I've heard a lot of people say over the years, interviewing people on the mic, young people today. We were talking in the context of what happens on the internet and how it impacts the community, the so-called hoods, the people that are involved in gang life. And you said those young people do things that we would never have done.
Absolutely.
But that's true of every generation.
It is.
Whether it's the music, the cussing, the sexual practices, the way they dress, the way they talk. I feel like every generation says they're going to hell in a handbasket because they don't do what we did.
Yeah.
And
because I could see it when I was growing up. I've heard it too, that we just out of control and they didn't used to act like that. So, yeah, it's just getting more, how would I say, more bolder every generation.
So that's my question. Like, I have a theory that we, whatever generation is not, young kids, teenagers, and children at the moment, especially a generation removed, right? Get what I call selective amnesia. And we forget the things we did, and we say this generation is cursed or this generation is just bad compared to us. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but I think there's something about, getting more mature that makes you
I think
have less hope for the
I
generation
think it
below.
gets more aggressive, more in the know each generation. But what I would say pertaining to this younger crew, they are way more disrespectful, though. I could not remember a time that somebody grandma will walk by and you just continue to use profanity. You would stop. I don't care if, as bad as I was, if I was smoking marijuana and your mama walked by, I'm going to stop and act like she can't smell it, until she get a little far away, then I'm going to start back. But this generation right now, if grandma say something, they'll bust granny in the mouth. And it's kind of like how we get from knowing you cannot put your hands on granny to now, F you granny, I'll sock you. Like, it's a big difference.
So you think that it
the
is
respect
actually
is
worse?
The
Actually
respect
worse.
is going down the drain. But I blame who raising these kids. I'm not going to just act like these kids just got it out the sky. I mean, my kids is not going to hit my mama. I know a lot of people, kids, your son not going to hit your mother. So we're not going to just blame these babies for that. It has everything to do with conditioning and raising in the household. Majority of these kids these days are hatched, not raised.
Yeah. Well,
And more of these young girls are masculine and by reasons, and these boys are acting more effeminate. And you cannot blame these kids. You cannot blame a kid that has been traumatized, rather it's emotionally, sexually, or physically, for when they get about 15, 16, they start acting like how you've been treating them.
Oh, man, there's a lot of conversation in this chat. Nakiesha Scott is her name. And Kwamel wants to know if you've ever met Latanya, I think he's talking about Ward.
Yes.
Yeah. And you guys have worked together, right?
I believe she does the healing circle, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, she does.
Yes, I love her. Yeah. We got to connect. So we've been connecting back and forth vaguely so far. But I did go to an event with her, and my girls went. That probably was like 3 months ago. And then I'm trying to schedule for her to come bring the healing circle with the mothers and the daughters for my organization. So absolutely.
Jerry Anderson says 2-parent households don't raise kids that hit grandma. I don't know that that's always true.
Yeah. People need to stop thinking that if you have 2 parents or if it's a single mom, then this is what's going to happen. No, it's to each his own. I mean, kids, it could be on the opposite side of the fence where you actually raising these kids to be productive. You're telling them right from wrong, and they just get older, may get hooked on drugs and just be on something else. So,
and also, 2-parent
like
homes are not automatically perfect.
No.
There's a lot of crazy stuff that goes inside certain 2-parent homes, and certain single mama or single daddy homes are solid. So I don't think it's fair to just say it's based on the structure.
No.
Yeah, so you said that you think women are getting masculine. That's a whole show. We could do a whole show on that.
I'm just
I hear
at the kids.
people complaining about that on the internet. What do you mean by that? Are you talking about just the way they present themselves, or are you talking about their sexual orientation?
I am talking about just the way they present themselves and how they carry themselves. I mean, it's always been a time where you had studs or where you had women that are more masculine. It's been less of a time where the men was just out the closet like that compared to how they are now. So it just depends on the individual.
So you're just talking about the
overall,
the young lady's presentation and how they young women or girls, and I mean,
but if you look at it and you think about it, a lot of these young girls are going through a whole lot. But if you peel the layers back, what's going on at home to make them have to feel like they have to be aggressive like that? Like all around the board, I am not going to blame these babies for them. I mean, at a certain point, absolutely. 18, 19, like, you know better. But these little young children that's out here acting up, that's something that's going on at home. It is trauma somewhere.
Yeah.
Period.
Well said. Time flies when you're on the radio. I'm so glad you could come in today. Looking forward to reading the book and then doing a deep dive on that.
Yes.
What do you want to leave us with this morning?
I just want to leave everybody with, as I always say, listen to your spirit. Don't listen to the outside noise, meaning people, social media. Listen to your spirit. Whoever you want to be, do that. I mean, coming from a young woman that couldn't read or write, graduating out of high school to now an author, 2 books, and a college graduate, you can change your life at any time. And stop allowing your babies to fall back.
Yeah.
And stop being mad if babies want to be the police, if they want to be a paramedic, if they want to be things like that. Because one thing about it, the police and the paramedics are letting our babies die. So if we get more of us in position to help each other, then that conversation will kind of die down too. Stop telling these babies they don't want to be the police. They need to be the police to get more of us in there.
Well, on that note, I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon
ma'am.
with the babies and then again with the book. Thank you so much for coming in. Live Your Life.
Yes, ma'am.
.org.
Yes.
All right. We've got news, traffic, and sports. Then it's time to call me. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. New York City is hiring a lot of teachers for next year to better comply with the state-mandated classroom size rules. Mayor Eric Adams announced that 3,700 teachers will be hired at nearly 750 schools, which will help make classrooms smaller. The trial of former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson, charged with the murder of a black woman, Sonia Massey, will be moved to Peoria County, Illinois. Grayson's lawyers argue he can't get a fair trial in Sangamon County. Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson aims to improve the city's budget process.